Welcome to Soltron. This is the video review for Shinkalion Change the World Phantom. Here's a size comparison. He's definitely in the Voyager size range. And here's a look at his box art. You can see he's definitely like a charcoal kind of color. There's definitely a lot of mechanical details that are in the box art that he doesn't have in real life, but it's a fairly good representation of the character. And then on the back, you can see the toy art itself, what he looks like with like one of the armor sets, which is like nothing special there. And you can see he's got this special feature of glow in the dark. I'm probably just gonna have to put that in the thumbnail because the video can't capture it, unfortunately. It comes with these nothing special newsprint instructions and sticker sheet, which I actually did apply this time. Here's a 360 view of this guy. If you've seen one of these Shinkalion figures, you've seen all of them. They all have exactly the same body proportions. The only things that are a little bit different is sometimes the shoulder pads are a different shape. And then of course the colors are all different. But for the most part, he looks like all the rest of them. I think he looks incredible. The charcoal and this fluorescent green work really well together. It's exactly what I thought they were going to do, except for I thought they were going to do like black trains with a green subcolor, but it's pretty much what I expected. I hope they do a pink one and like a teal colored one, so they have all three of the evil looking trains. And then when we take a look at the head sculpt, he's definitely got a very ninja vibe going on and a very Transformers Cybertron bulkhead, or no, Crumple Zone kind of head sculpt with those nice jaws, and even the colors are kind of reminiscent of that figure. So more reason for me to like him. I just really loved Cybertron. Crumple Zone was a great figure. And then for his accessories, he does come with this weapon set. And one thing that is disappointing about this guy right out of the package is these are all rubber. It's a pretty stiff rubber this time, but it is rubber, and I don't mean like a soft plastic. This is just rubber. You could definitely chew on this. It looks like candy already, so the impulse to not chew on it is pretty difficult to resist. But yeah, you get like this shield kind of thing with a few holes in it. You get his little pistol, and you get this little saw blade, so you can just have those in his hands in various ways. And because they're full of 5mm ports and posts, you can really just combine these in any variety of ways. And then I guess you just shove this. This one has a post here and a port there. You can just shove this on his arm. So you can definitely get cool little ninja looking vibes out of this guy. And then you can, maybe if you had multiple versions of this guy, you could combine them into some kind of sword looking thing. But for now, you can just combine it into this super weapon that has a pistol and like a little shanking knife. But yeah, I think he turns out really nicely. You can see the stickers that have been applied. I don't know if the stickers really add anything, but it does help to break up all this fluorescent green, which is a little bit too much. And then of course, in accessories, he comes with all his combining junk. These don't really have a purpose in his robot mode unless you want to give him another arm shield, which seems very pointless when you've got this much cooler looking one. But yeah, he, like all the other ones, he comes with all the same accessories, so nothing special there. And then his articulation is going to be exactly the same. You get ball joint neck, very nice. You get swivel on the shoulder, which is pretty stiff. And then you got full outward motion. You got a really buttery bicep swivel. You got a little bit more than 90 on the elbow, no wrist. You do get 360 on the waist. You do get this soft ratchet. Well, I guess it's a friction ratchet that goes all the way out. So nice universal joint all the way forward, backwards. You get 90 on the knee, which is also on its own spring kind of ratchet. And then you get ball joint ankles, which give you a little bit of tilt, but you're not going to get enough to do any dramatic poses. You can see his feet are not flush. But yeah, these guys are really fun to pose just because they're tiny and they're packed with articulation. So you can get a good amount of articulation going from these guys, and they do have thigh swivel too. But yeah, so you've seen basically this figure review already. And then we're going to go ahead and get this guy in his combine mode. So we can just tear these off, tear this off. And since we want him to be the main body, we're just going to want all these pieces. But yeah, no matter what part of the body he is, you pretty much have to tear his whole body apart. And then we take this combining port. We're just going to reattach the hips here. These are going to become his new combined hips. And we can unpeg this part up here. We reattach this to his chest. And then these leg bits are going to become his forearms, so we don't need to deal with those. For these, you're just going to fold them up. And then you peg them together, and these are going to peg into his back right here, these two ports. And then you take his shield extra fist. We're not going to use that for this guy, so you're just going to put his back panels back on as if you were putting him in train mode. And then you're just going to friction this into place back here, which sometimes works well. And then it's going to fill up that gap in the back. And there's his torso ready to combine. And this is nothing new, so we're just going to slap the other limbs into place. We're going to get his red shoulder, his blue shoulder, his blue leg, and his red leg, everything ported into place. And then we're going to go ahead and get these little leg bits we didn't use, and we're just going to put those, are going to fill out his forearms a little bit and help distribute his charcoal color. And then yeah, his hips are pretty terrible since you're just relying on the original robot hips. Which don't work that great with all this mass. And there we go, there's his combined form. Right. Yeah, the loose hips are definitely a problem for this mode. But you can see he looks okay. And then yeah, I guess you can give him this combined weapon thing. If you can peg the rubber thing into a fist. Okay, close enough. Yeah, he looks all right. I don't know. It's something you can do with the figure. I don't think this is amazing, but it's cool to at least have this figure. Now that I have 4 of these, I can actually compare to what the combined mode looks with like a regular sized figure. So yeah, you can see he's much bigger and skinnier. I think the thighs are always a problem on these figures. If we could just like cover up the thighs with some extra bits, it might help him look less scrawny, and we can pretend that the thighs are not super weak. Yeah, I can't even peg this into the thigh, unfortunately. But yeah, nothing special about that. So let's go on to his final mode. We're going to get him into train mode, so we need to recapture all of his bits, get everybody else's pieces out of the way. And then I forgot to mention the other accessory he comes with is this skateboard, which is the wheels of the train, of course, just like all the other sets. And then we're going to have to uncombine him 100%. And then just put him back into his robot mode, essentially. We're going to shove his head down and then close up the canopy. And then we can put his waist pieces can go back here. So this is as much of the robot that you can get when you're transforming this guy. Everything else has to parts form. And then we're going to get the legs and just peg those together. And then we're going to get those arm pieces. We're just going to shove those. So we still want those pegged together. And those are going to shove in here in the back of the train. And then we're just going to sandwich everything nicely together. Okay, and then we just peg this up here. And then we're going to take the shoulder bits and use that to cover up these huge gaps in the train. And then we take that giant skateboard piece, and that's going to go underneath the train to give it wheels. And there's your train mode, complete with its lime green paint right here. And of course, this is all glow-in-the-dark paint, so all of this will glow in the dark as well. But the plastic doesn't, only the green paint. So yeah, fairly different looking than all the other trains. It's got like these ridges on it, making it look more sinister, but it still has like a door and windows. But yeah, not much to say about it. It's got kind of like a snake look in the front. Pretty fun. And then, yeah, if you want, you can grab all these extra little bits, and these will peg together into some combiner junk. And then you can also shove that in the back of the train just so he's consistent. And then what are you going to do with this? Well, I guess there's these pegs or these holes on the side of the train. I guess you could like peg it into the side very loosely, or maybe there's a place somewhere else it's supposed to peg into. But yeah, this doesn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. So yeah, it's nothing new, but it looks cool. It's a cool redeco of the same figures, so I enjoy it. I'm planning on keeping this one. This was about $30, I think, on Amazon, so not too bad. I think these guys are worth 30 bucks. But yeah, that's the review. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll see you in the next review.